Hi, I'm Jérémy.
And I'm Ben.
Together we're 15 degrees now.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Shanghai.
Shanghai is the largest city in China, sitting on its eastern seaboard.
With 25 million inhabitants, it is also the second largest city in the entire world.
For most of its history, Shanghai was a modestly sized city, but its huge boom economic during the late 20th century left it a vast metropolis with a towering skyline.
And nowhere is that more evident than on the Bund.
The Pudong waterfront of the Huangpu River, this long promenade gives you sweeping views of the skyscrapers in Weijiazhu.
Initially, this area was the centre of foreign power in Shanghai, with colonial buildings from European powers littered along its banks.
The International Bank, HSBC, is based there, and the ensemble of banks here in Pudong used to be the city's centrepiece.
That was until the 1990s, when significant investment was funneled into the area by the Chinese government, who envisioned the spot as a tourist destination.
And they absolutely succeeded.
With the remarkable skyline on the bank opposite, the city looks like a futuristic metropolis taken directly from the pages of a sci-fi novel.
Perpendicular to the Bund is Nanjing Road, the city's main shopping district.
One of the world's busiest shopping streets, it is home to the flagship stores of international and Chinese brands alike, including our favourites, Miniso and Pop Mart.
We tried to get a Labubu at the latter. We really did, but we were competing with 1 billion people for once, so we failed.
This area of Shanghai sits within the Shanghai International Settlement, which was a chunk of land won by the British, French and Americans in the First Opium War of the 19th century, winning this and others, including Hong Kong.
At the turn of the 20th century, the settlement was also inhabited by numerous European powers, but then came along the Second World War.
The Japanese occupation kicked all the Europeans out, and once the war was finished in 1945, the resulting civil war and subsequent communist government meant that they were never able to return.
Today, this area still bears the hallmarks of its colonial past, but like the Bund, it was rapidly redeveloped at the end of the 20th century, becoming the temple to Chinese capitalism with its reinvention in the 1990s.
While it is a very modern city, there are still plenty of traces from the past tucked between the skyscrapers.
A very good example of this is Yew Garden, which was constructed in the 16th century by the governor of the area.
A series of pavilions, walkways and ponds, it served as a central social hub to the city where many grand performances were held.
Despite being damaged both in the Opium Wars and World War II, it is now preserved as a national monument.
Nowadays, the gardens sit alongside Yuyuan Old Street, which is the historic commercial centre away from the colonial zone.
We've just had our names engraved onto chopsticks.
Right.
Which looks great. And then the woman started laughing. Jérémy, why did the woman start laughing?
Well, Ben in Mandarin Chinese means stupid.
So I just had the word stupid engraved on my chopsticks.
It's beautiful during the day, but at night, well, the Chinese certainly know how to light beautiful buildings.
This complex was built around the turn of the 20th century, mimicking the style of the nearby Ming Dynasty architecture, but more than a century later, and this is absolutely one of the most unique shopping experiences we've ever had.
It's full of gorgeous little shops and amazing eateries.
We would recommend doing exactly what we did and spending an evening dining on little bits from each of the street food vendors just to sample its vast array of dishes.
How absolutely stunning.
Head back to the Bund after dark.
It might be insanely busy, just like any tourist attraction in China is, but the sweeping views drenched in neon lights are like something straight from the movies.
If Blade Runner is our future, then it's already arrived in Shanghai.
I'm not sure we're at that point where synthetic humans are trying to replace humans just yet.
It won't be long until ChatGPT kills us all.
Nice.
Across the river and we head to Lujiazhu.
The Oriental Pearl Tower is easily Shanghai's most iconic building, and you can visit the observatory inside, but instead we would advise going up the Shanghai Tower instead for the best views of the city.
Not only do you get to see the city's remarkable set of skyscrapers and the Oriental Pearl from above, but you can also say that you've gone up the third tallest building in the world.
For now, I'll bet our future viewers will be like, oh well, actually nowadays it's more like actually the 10th tallest building in the world.
Don't worry, our future viewers will be enslaved by ChatGPT soon.
Heading back to Pudong, the most fun ways to cross the river is by hopping on the most fun subway line in the world.
It might just be a light show in a tunnel, but it looks bloody marvellous, don't you think?
That's how the robots will lure us in. Pretty light shows, CGI marvels, and then bam, the end of humankind.
Well, you're in a jolly mood, aren't you?
Next up, it's time to seek out Shanghai's historical treasures, which have been best preserved in its temples.
Shanghai became a significant town at around 1000 CE when its position at the mouth of the Huangpu River onto the Yangtze Delta gave it great trading significance.
During the Ming Dynasty, it developed into a large city with many grand and beautiful public buildings.
At the start of the 19th century, it was home to 200,000 people, but 1842 changed the city forever with the arrival of the European colonial powers following the First Opium War.
On the one hand, these new residents claimed vast swaths of the city centre for their own.
But on the other, Shanghai then became the central trading port between these newcomers and the rest of China, which made it very wealthy indeed.
And following the Taiping Rebellion elsewhere in the country, the city's population boomed when it saw an influx of refugees arriving in the 1850s.
The Sino-Japanese War of the 1890s further deepened Shanghai's importance, and soon it was the financial and industrial capital of all East Asia.
With banks and the stock exchange becoming the center point of the city, it rolled out Western inventions including electric lights and tram lines to make this the first truly metropolitan city as we now know them in all of Asia.
A home for entrepreneurs, intellectuals and artists, the early 20th century was a golden age for Shanghai.
How interesting that it coincided with Paris' Belle Epoque.
You were clearly linked to Shanghai all this time.
But then, just like Paris, the mid-20th century pulled the rug out from all of that.
Japan invaded in 1937 and Shanghai was one of the earliest parts of China to be conquered.
Occupied until 1945, it was then conquered by the Chinese Communist Army in 1949, and with that closed its port to the outside world.
The temples are just so calm and serene and like little pieces of the old China, away from the crazy hustle and bustle of the city.
Like most Westerners, we use Shanghai as our entry point to visit China.
We spent a month travelling this sprawling country in a loop that began and ended here.
But if you're only in Shanghai for a short period and want a taste of what the rest of China is like, you should definitely head out to the suburb of Qibao, which is only a 40-minute taxi ride from the centre.
A water town on the banks of a network of canals, here you'll get a taste of Chinese flavour. Okay Ben, why are you such a pain when it comes to drinking abroad?
It's because I don't like beer. I don't like it. I don't like the
But
taste
you're
of it.
British.
I know, but then it means that when we're abroad somewhere like this, where literally your only option for alcohol is beer, it's a right pain in the bum. However, I found a solution. Sake. Sake is 15%. It is a type of wine, and it's actually quite yummy. So here's to sake.
So sake it to you. I'll stick to beer.
China is a remarkable country to visit, and Shanghai is rightfully known as its jewel.
So, even if this is the only place to visit in the country, you have to check it out.